Good day, this is Chango Gumi, Oni Chango, doing a video today about the prophecy of 2021, or letra de año as is known in the religion. First and foremost, I just want to say that this is not my predictions, it's only my interpretation of the Odun IKA FUN. The yearly prophecy is done by the babalaos, or the priests of the religion called IKA. Most religious houses in Santeria and Palomayombe do their own personal predictions for themselves and their godchildren. But the prophecy given by the babalaos is intended for all of humanity. Orula is the deity worshipped by the babalaos, and Orula is the voice of God. It is said that Orula's word never touched the ground. How could they if they're God's words? Now, we'll only cover certain things about this year's prediction, because if not, this could very well be a 3 or 4 hour long video. Now, first thing is bad practices by the religious community. And this is not only for Ifa, but it goes across the board for Santeria, Palomayombe, etc. It's just across the board. The overcharging for ceremonies, everything does have a price, especially in this religion, but I'm talking about overcharging ridiculous amounts of money to someone that can't really afford it to begin with. I mean, in defense of the priest, there are people that when you give them a reading, you tell them the problem and the solution to the problem and the cost for this bull, whatnot, they have 1,001 excuses about why they can't afford it. But these are the same people that are lined up outside the cell phone store a couple days later trying to get the new iPhone. So, in a way, I understand why some of these priests do what they do, but not everybody is like that. So, this year's recommendation is, if you are in these particular religions, you need to step back, you need to slow down, and you need to look around and just remember that you're here to help humanity. Like I said, everything does have a cost, because especially with COVID, everything has gone through the roof. But at the end of the day, the majority of people that come to your spiritual house are in need, and financially they're not up to par. So, I mean, that's one of the things. Now, doing religious ceremonies, spiritual works, or even giving people religious artifacts that are not consecrated correctly is a big problem. It's actually a huge problem that's been going on for way, way too long, to the point that this year, Orula's talking about it. Now, IKA FUN speaks about, if you don't have the correct knowledge, you shouldn't be talking about it or doing any ceremony or spiritual works. You should first learn the proper knowledge before doing anything else. And that's the problem that's going on. Like, every religious person adds their own little technique here and there. They don't stay to the true rules of this religion. That's a huge problem. That's why nowadays this religion is to the point of it's never gonna go away. It's actually growing like wildfire, but it's a diluted version of what it's meant to be, because of things like this, bad practices. Everybody thinks that their way of working is the only way. No, there's rules. There's set rules. There's there's even codes of ethic, moral conduct, and people are just bypassing this just for their financial gain or whatnot. There gotta be a stop to this. Now, and like I said, this includes Ifa, Santeria, Palomayombe, etc. It's not just like a lot of people, they hear the letter of the year, oh, that's only for babalaos, that's only Ifa. No, it is not. It is not. Just because Orula speaks to the babalaos and Ifa does not mean he is not talking about the santeros, the paleros, etc., and so forth, so on. It's straight across the board. If you're in this type of religion, he's talking to you. Now, this also goes in hand with taking advantage of those in need that have faith in you as a religious person and that have faith in the religion. You know, it's something that needs to really stop. And like I said, Arula said that this year, those practitioners of the religion that continue to do their BS and just screwing people over, they're gonna have to do it with that with Arula and God Himself. Now, please, people, take this pandemic extremely seriously. For this year, I'm sorry to say, we will probably have more deaths, more COVID-related deaths than we did last year. This year, we're going to have different strains of the COVID, due in parts because of the different vaccines that are already out there and the ones that are going to continue to come out. I understand most states. I don't know who's running these state and local governments, but I do understand most officials are opening on bars and restaurants and whatnot. But this is the way I'm gonna put it to you. You go in front of a building that the fire department put out a fire, but you're still noticing that in several spots of the building there's still fresh smoke. And the fire department tells you everything's okay, you can go in the building and go about your business. Now, logic should tell you, I am not going in that building. That building is not safe. Same thing goes for this. Just because they're saying things are getting better and they're starting to open up these different things, stay home. Avoid crowded areas. You know, it's a little inconvenience for the next year or so, but then you have the rest of your life to enjoy life. You mean, but those that go in there, go to parties, go to these restaurants when they open up, etc., etc. If you catch it, now and there, you're taking a chance that you're gonna die, but you're gonna get your family sick, and they're in chance of dying. You know, it's a little inconvenience. It's not, you got the rest of the world when everything comes back to normal. Everything's back to normal. In the meantime, just chill, relax. Now, speaking of that, the COVID-related deaths, another thing that is strongly recommended this year, is to take care of the egg wounds. The egg wounds are your ancestral dead, your grandfather, uncle, or whatnot. These are people that are always going to be connected to you through blood. For the simple fact that when all this started, many people died which did not have the proper burials. They didn't have the proper services, prayers, whatnot. A lot of them were cremated. So there's still a lot of lost souls lingering around this world. This year, it's paramount for you guys to take care of your egg wounds. They're always there. It's a life force. That's a force that's going to be in your life to the day you die. They're your guardians. So in the future, I might do a little video on how to take care of the boveda, the spiritual altar and whatnot. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to skip on. Now, the next and last topic, like I said, I could go on for hours. The last topic I'm going to talk about, it's women. Women have been discriminated against for way too long. They continue to mentally and physically get abused by the very same people they love and trust. And this is something that has to stop. This year is the year of the woman. Women are going to liberate themselves from their abusers. They're going to finally wake up and realize that they are better off without the parasites in their lives. And mostly, mentally, the women are going to be stronger, and many will go back to school, whether it's online, and continue their education. Because through their degrees, through their education, they're actually going to break that chain of the discrimination that's against them in the workforce. Because to this day, certain jobs still pay men more than they pay women. And that right there is it's not good at all. Now, this is the second year that the deity Ochun has been governing, which is something unheard of. To me, my interpretation of this is Ochun is holding on because she's tired of the misconduct towards her daughters, the women, because Ochun is the deity, the protector of all women. And she's hanging on because she wants to make a breakthrough. She wants to awaken women up. You know, women need to start valuing themselves. Women need to stop acting certain ways in order to fit in. You gotta respect yourself before anybody else is gonna respect you. So now, like I said, Ochun is the protector of women. She's been hanging on. She's trying to make headway. She came governing with Olokun, and Olokun is a deity where, personally, this is my opinion, it really does not have a sex. It could be a man or a woman. It's just a strong entity on its own. And so basically, the way I look at it, the way I look at my Olokun, basically you have two females governing this year, which is something very, very, very unique. Usually it's a male deity and a female deity, but this year they threw a curveball because Olokun is a topic of arguments in the religion. Some say it's a male, some say it's a female. Whatever the case may be, those of us that look at it as it being a female, we're looking at this year as two females governing this year. That should tell you something about how unhappy they are, especially when it comes to the abuse of the women. Now, this is as far as I'm going to go about IKA FUN. Like I said, I could probably make a part 2 through 10 just to cover what really needs to be covered. IKA FUN is a very, very long Odum, especially the topics that are in there this year. So until next time, may Chango bless you and yours. Ache, ache, oh.